So before we do this, my mother watched some of these meditations and she enjoys them, but she told me, you just go straight into it like that. Can you talk a little bit about it first? And initially I had some resistance, but I could see that she's right. Yeah. And also I know that, you know, what comes on YouTube is just straight up close your eyes, but there's a context to that. But, you know, it's good sometimes to listen to your mother. And so this practice of, we call meditation, it's a special laboratory in a way that we reserve like 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes. We reserve them for basically doing nothing. So we intentionally carve out time. So anything we need to do, we have to figure out in the mind or with the body, doing stuff, it's on hold. So we dedicate this time to ourselves, our real self, which is aware right now, our presence, which is in day-to-day life where everybody is forgotten. We don't even know it exists. So we are kind of running in autopilot. So that's what's special about this period. Also, what's interesting is that although we put everything on pause, it's still humming. The sense of doing, the sense of thinking, and it's a good chance to witness. Actually, many people, okay, I'm going to drop in and meditate, close my eyes. And when I close my eyes, it's seemingly even more busy, the monkey mind, or I'm becoming aware of feelings and stuff. So it's almost like, okay, I need to just get out of it. Maybe have a chocolate, have a spliff, have some movie. So, however, this time of blocking this time and going into just watching the inner world. That's what it is, watching the inner world and the outer world, watching them without doing anything about it. That's a portal towards a new dimension. And it's a portal towards our deepest power, our deepest strength, the strength of what we are, the strength of our true identity, the strength of consciousness. And it may not seem at the beginning like that, but this is a portal leading towards home, a sense of what we long for, you know, a sense of stability, a sense of causeless okayness, which is not dependent on stimuli. But in order to reap these benefits of causeless okayness, stability, inner peace, we need to kind of put a little time into it. And just by simply witnessing inner phenomena without trying to change them, without trying to change any feeling, without trying to get rid of anything. At the same time, we are not thinking about stuff. If we are getting to thinking, it means that we fell asleep. Our consciousness got sucked into some storyline and off we go. So we do the best we can when we notice that to come back. Otherwise, the idea is not to stop thoughts. It's not possible. Or maybe it's possible with some special deep breathing exercises. One can have no thought for a little bit, but as soon as, or some special drug, but as soon as we stop those breathing exercises or focusing on something, the thoughts will come and it will be ego business as usual. So the practice is not to try not to have thoughts. The practice is to somehow watch the thoughts, watch the popping thoughts. Just like we are not trying to stop sounds, we are just aware of sounds. And then through this practice, we can actually have some deep insights. They are liberating insights that thoughts come and go, but I don't go. So I must not be the thought. And at the beginning, it's hard to see that because there's thought after thought. And it seems like this is me. But also spending some time in meditation, what happens is that after some time, the mind gets a little slower output. So we can actually experience this thing like we can see how the thoughts arise. The thought can be an image or a voice, and it comes out of nothing, and it's like, and then it goes away. And again, there's no thought. So we can actually access this. It's called the interval between thoughts. And actually, it's important to notice that it's not thoughts all the time. The thoughts are popping up like a bubble, and then they fade away. And there is a stage in which the thought appear. So this is important to recognize that, and actually that is what we are. So thoughts appear in the presence is aware of them, and the thoughts die down in this presence. And I use this word presence or awareness or consciousness, and they're all synonyms. In the West, in the East, they call it our true nature or our Buddha nature, still synonym to consciousness, awareness, presence, which is that whatever it is which is just aware right now. And I think I'm going into more talk, but I think my mother will be pleased.
A lot of explanation.
Yeah. Sometimes, especially some of us who read spiritual literature or some deep spiritual stuff, we may get the idea that this awareness is something very magical and special, and like it's not all the time. It's like some amazing thing. But actually, the real presence is. I have a friend of mine who is a teacher, Paul Hederman. He was saying it's dog shit awareness, man. He was saying that's not special awareness that you come to me to give it to you, or you have to practice for a long time to have it. This presence, we all have it. We all are it. And it's so plain that is unnoticed. It's the most intimate thing. So with these words, let's kind of go inside and see what happens. It helps to acclimatize from being busy and thinking to just being. Helps to be aware of the breath without trying to change it in any way. It's like an anchor into the here and now space. Allow the breath to be natural. Yet many of us, our breathing is unnatural. We are just not inhaling all the way, or we are not exhaling all the way. And actually this creates a lot of tensions and anxiety. So breathe all the way, fill your lungs and your belly. There's a moment of being on full, and a natural release, and let it be all the way empty. The mind will offer suggestions. The mind maybe right away be like, okay, I'm checking, I'm going somewhere. Doing the best we can to notice these baits and not bite onto them. Thoughts coming and going. Bringing ourselves back to the aware breath. Like taking a vacation from thinking, from engaging with thinking. Thinking may still pop up, but we are like, hey, we're closed. Sorry, just for a little bit. We have a break. And now why? Because there's nothing wrong with thinking. Actually, it's a superior function in the animal realm. Not many animals have it. The problem is that we have an excess of it. Somehow excess of thinking. At the same time, we are forgetful. We are not aware of the feeling body. And also usually the thinking in the asleep state is all the time about future or past. And it's often useless or torturous. So it's a way to a little bit of time to have a little break from it. And to tune into hearing, noticing the sense of hearing. Hearing is another anchor into the present, like the breath. Because when we are lost in daydreaming about misfortunes of future or past, we are not hearing what's happening in the present. Yeah, we don't need to focus on the breath anymore. This is just at the beginning. But as we start to land more and more in the now, it's good to be open to the totality of the now. Noticing sounds, noticing the breeze, noticing the contact with the chair. Noticing thoughts, but also noticing the body. Not how we think about the body, but how it feels to have a body. In this experience of bodily sensations, there are two aspects. There's the sensation aspect, the functional, like various functional contact with the chair or hot or cold, or let's say you have a headache or a stomach ache. And there's also the emotional realm. All these feelings, all the so-called anxiety, loneliness, I'm a failure, they show up as some bodily contractions or energy somewhere. That we are usually oblivious of, or we try to get rid of them, or we try to understand why, or we do something to them all the time. So let's now simply welcome any and all sensations in the chest, belly, and without trying to change them, without trying to do anything about them. And if there is any unpleasantness or localized, like I'm noticing in my belly something there, really do your best to not resist it. Let go resisting it. Let it be what it is. And I honed a little bit into this emotional aspect, because usually it's overlooked. But the idea is also not to just notice sensations, because that's unbalanced too. The idea is to be present to the all of the now on an equal footing, without sticking or doing anything about it. And relax your jaw and your eyelids. And if some of us, you're feeling getting sleepy, it's okay. It's okay. Don't fight it. You must be tired. It's okay. Resting in the now. At some point, also, we may notice that it's almost like the body is sleeping. It's almost like I'm sleeping, but I'm not. The body could be sleeping, and there is awareness still. So, this is what is usually called mindfulness or witnessing, being present to the now. this in itself has many, I mean, scientifical proven benefits for the body, for the blood pressure, for reducing stress. There are studies. I'm not really interested in that, although it's good to know. There's also a soothing, calming effect on the nervous system. It's a soothing, calming, slowing off the mind, the mental state. And for some of us, it's like, dude, I'm just so busy, my mind right now, it's crazy. Hey, it's okay. Don't fight it. Don't try to calm it. Do your best to come back to the present moment and also watching one thought coming and going, another thought. Don't log into them. Notice that all of these phenomena that appear in the mind as thoughts, in the body as sensation, in the world as sounds, they are constantly changing, arising and passing. There's nothing constant. And this Buddha discovered, I mean, probably other people discovered before him, but he called this the law of impermanence. And science discovered that even the body seems solid, but it's always changing. I mean, you need some photographs to see that, but photographs from the past. But it's the body and every cell being born and dying all the time within this harmonious system. But in spite of the fact that thoughts, feelings, and sounds change all the time, our experience of moment to moment is not choppy, is not fragmented. Why? It feels like a continuous, something is unchanging somehow, something feels unchanging. And I work with people who are like in their 70s or 80s, and they are telling me, man, I know I look like that, but I feel just so young. I feel just like how I was a kid. It's bewildering for them. This is due to the fact that there is not just thoughts and feelings, not just phenomena coming and going. There is another aspect which is the most important. It's consciousness. It's that, whatever it is, which is hearing these words right now, perceiving, sensing, and that is always on. Sense of easiness. Don't believe me. Just try to verify. And Notice the sense of just being here. It helps to not focus into anything and allow the attention to be open, unfocused. So in other words, is that what is being perceived is impermanent, but the perceiver is unchanging. The perceiver, or what we call awareness or presence, are one and the same. So it's, in other words, is there is a subject and an object. Objects are what appears: feelings, triggers, anger, memories. Those are objects that appear and then disappear. And then there's the subject, which is that which is aware of the objects. What I'm saying now is not something that you need to do. I'm describing something which is already here for us all. So as a final pointer, we hear these ideas for some of us who've been studying this for some time. And because we use the mind, which is hard to put into words something which is invisible, this presence. And what happens is that all these words, presence, awareness, consciousness, Buddha nature, they are nouns. You know, the perceiver, the witness, they are all nouns, which give the idea that there is like a something. And actually, that's not like that. It helps to actually put it as a verb. So the presence is more like there is presencing. There is awarenessing happening right now. There is consciousnessing. It's not like a little something inside my brain, a little green me that is like watching. No. It's just mystery. We don't know how it works. But right now, these sounds are being heard, sensations are being noticed. And that, whatever it is which is doing this, is no different than what we call I. For the last minute, just do nothing, being aware, resting in the now. Also, I invite you to also open the eyelids, but it's not finished. Yeah, we didn't finish. Just be as kids were, as kids are. And being conscious of seeing, being conscious of what's in the body, free from labeling, free from story. Often, I mean, often when we do this, it will be like more vivid. It's like a high. We are high on something, and we are kind of high on the self, on our Buddha nature. And why does it seem like it's more vivid? It's always like that. Usually, our mind is like a veil. There's a constant somewhere else in some other time. So we are missing out, the gift of beauty and stuff. In the Sufi tradition, they were saying, which is a very deep wisdom, wherever your eyes fall, there is the face of God. All right.